Hello everyone, welcome back. Today's guest is someone whose journey genuinely fascinated me the moment I came across her profile. She is an Oxford trained astrophysicist, founder of Space Tour India, advisory member at SETS India, a science educator, study abroad consultant, and a computer science engineer. Gauri Verma, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Ved.
I have genuinely been looking forward to this one. Now, I have given our audience a quick snapshot of who you are, but I'd love for you to take it from here. Tell us about yourself in your own words. Because honestly, your journey is the kind that needs to be heard directly from you.
Yeah, thank you, Ved. Thank you so much for having me. It's a great opportunity to chat, especially if it reaches, my audience and your audience, and people would start liking space after this. This would be my objective. My objective would be fulfilled. So basically, I started off with computer science. Engineering, as most Indians think that it's the right way to do, and I honestly enjoyed the degree very much. However, I was always very curious about space, and I wanted to do something in core astronomy or astrophysics, even when I was a kid. So after completing my bachelor's, I went to UK to study abroad and finished my master's in astrophysics from Cardiff University, and then I started working with the University of Oxford, University of Warwick, and Space Tour Limited, which I'm still working with in partnership. So that has been my journey. My main objective was to come back to India and establish a very immersive space ecosystem so that people can experience space along with learning about it, not just from books but also when we conduct the workshops related to space education. We want to connect with people and make it more easier for them to understand space and show them that there are career opportunities in space as well.
Sure. So that's an incredible achievement in itself. What was the journey of getting into Oxford like, and what did that experience teach you that you couldn't have learned anywhere else?
So getting into Oxford was one of my, dreams that I never dreamt of. I never thought I would go to Oxford and then work at the university, but I was simply looking for roles, according to my profile. So after completing my graduation, I worked with University of Warwick for 6 months on a project which was related to science museums. So I had to travel to different museums, collaborate with teachers, students, and basically I was communicating science to students in an easier language that they can understand, and I loved to do that. Then when my project was about to finish, I was looking for more jobs, and I came across this job role and I applied for it. I cleared the interview, and there were many candidates, but I found myself really lucky to be selected. And then I worked in Oxford for about 1.5 years. And it was the best experience of my life. There were obviously so many challenges. Like I couldn't get into Oxford just the first job I applied and I got into it. Obviously, I had applied for hundreds of jobs, and but you got to keep patient, and you just have to keep going, believe in yourself, and just think the best for yourself, and then you'll definitely reach somewhere that you deserve.
First of all, congratulations for that achievement. And
Thank you.
I got to know about your profile that you were also a team lead at UK SETS, the
Yes.
UK Students for Exploration and Development of Space. So, leading a space focused student organization in the UK must have been a very different or special experience compared to what space community looks like in the India. What were the biggest differences you noticed in that?
Right. So UK SEDS was again one of the major milestones that I achieved, which I never thought I would. But then getting into UK SEDS was another thing that I learned a lot from, and I didn't know that SEDS, as in Students for Exploration and Development of Space, was actually a community developed by Princeton and MIT back in 1980s, and thereafter many countries adopted this community to obviously encourage space education and develop more such space communities within different countries. So now UK has it for a long time. Even India has it. So the best thing that I learned from UK SEDS was that it's a community that's completely student-led, and even young graduates are participating in. in it as volunteers. Now, what is a volunteer? You work in that community for free, right? However, you learn a lot of skills like team leadership, team building, documentation, how to talk to people. It's an international kind of collaboration as well. They welcome international collaborations, and you talk to very different kind of people of different age groups and different thought processes. So you learn a lot. I was leading a team which was membership team in UK SEDS, which meant that whoever applied for the membership role, first the application came to me, and then we had to kind of verify the membership and then give them the membership or decline if they do not meet the eligibility criteria. And then we obviously had inter-team kind of communications and everything. So it's very much personality development community. Anyone who ever gets the chance should be a part of it. So I was a part of UK SEDS for a long time, for about a year and a half. And then when I came back to India, I was exploring a similar community here, which is SEDS India. Again, it's a very, very good community. However, it's much smaller in scale right now because people don't know about it yet. And the difference that you asked was that India is a very, very big country in comparison to the UK, right? So India has very much fragmented different space groups of amateur astronomers or people who are interested in astronomy. So they create their own WhatsApp groups or Slack communities or Discord groups, right? So now the objective that I have in mind for SEDS India is that bringing all these groups together under a single umbrella, because so that people can benefit from this wider space community, get a wider participation, right? And we can actually leverage the number of people we have in India who love space. So I know it's going to take time and it seems like a very, very difficult objective to overcome. But I think with time, people will realize that, yes, we need like a single or a national space community that we want to be associated with so that we can obviously participate in events, create awareness, people can start loving space and also see that, we're trying to bridge the gap between industry and university students. So anybody who's doing a degree which is related to space or engineering or aerospace engineering or somewhere, they're interested in space education or space careers, they can then directly connect with people who are already working in the industry if they're a part of SEDS India as a community. Because in the future, we plan to have networking events when we invite, companies, we invite college students, and that's the platform that they can meet their future recruiters as well. So this is my idea of building SEDS India, just like UK SEDS, taking my learnings from UK SEDS and establishing them here and actually utilizing the power of SEDS India and what it can provide to the Indian people.
That's great. Now you have also published a research in astrophysics, which is a significant milestone. I'd love for you to walk us through what your research was about and breaking it down in a way that someone without a physics background can appreciate and understand it.
Okay, that's a very good question, and it's a very interesting story, Ved, because I published my research very, very recently. However, it started off when I was in my BTech first year. So it's actually been a very prolonged process, and it stopped in the middle because I moved to the UK. So for 3 years, I was not in great communication with my professors. So when I was in my first year of BTech degree, I was doing computer science engineering, but I was obviously interested in physics and science and atmospheric science. So I collaborated with my physics professors of the universities who did not teach me at all, but I just, randomly went up to them and I said, I'd love to work on a research paper with you if you have a vacancy for a student. So they said, yeah, sure. Looking at my enthusiasm, they were like, yeah, sure, why not? We can collaborate. So we worked on the research paper. I did all the research side of things, whatever they asked me to do. Obviously, my professors worked along with me equally as hard. And we kind of finalized the paper, I think, in my third year, but then COVID hit and we kind of lost track of things. And it's hard to do things online when you're actually sitting with the professors. You get more done, right? It's very difficult to process things online. So when I went to UK, we did not really communicate anything. We tried to communicate our paper. We got many reviews, and it was kind of going back and forth. But then last year, when we connected again, I connected again with my professors, and they said, okay, let's pick this up again, because we've completed the paper. It is ready to go out. Let's just finally review it, and let's just send it to a journal. And that's when we did it again. And I was the corresponding author. That means every communication that I had to do with the journal, I was responsible for that. So I took that role very, very honestly, and I communicated the paper, and my professors helped me really, like, along the way. And finally, our paper got selected. So it was about the ionospheric parameters, how the ionospheric parameters are being affected by the solar radiations that are coming from the sun. Right? We have many layers in the ionosphere. So we are looking at those layers, and how, like, the molecules, or there are many different kind of parameters in the Earth's atmospheric layers, how they are being impacted, how they're changing, right? How is the temperature changing? How is, for example, a particular gas, how is it changing? What are the molecules? Are they being affected or not? And we've noticed that, the solar rotation is about 27 days long. So where the sun spins on its own axis, that's about 27 days. And around 30 days, we call it a month. So how that is affecting the Earth's atmosphere. So that's what the paper is about. I would love to drop a link somewhere if somebody would like to read it. So you can read the paper. I'll drop a link in the description or something.
Okay, sure. I will give the link in description. So that's fascinating. Let's move forward. Like, for someone completely new to the astrophysics, what is the one concept or fact about the universe you think everyone should know? Something that genuinely changes how you see the world.
Okay, so you'll be interested to know that even today, 2026, some people actually are very opinionated that the Earth is flat. Right? So they still stick by the fact that, okay, we have a flat Earth. And that's actually not true, because we've seen from outside that the Earth is a sphere. It's not a perfect sphere. It's kind of bent on the edges. However, it's a sphere. It's not a flat. It's not a flat planet. And once it used to happen that the previous explorers like Galileo, Pythagoras, they used to think that, okay, the Earth is at the center of the universe, and the other planets and the sun are going around it. However, when these people, they researched a lot, Galileo built his own telescope, and then they kind of saw that, okay, this is not really working out. That's not how the maths is working. So it's probably that the sun is much bigger and it's holding the solar system together. So the sun is at the center and Earth is at the third position from the sun, which is exactly where we need to be, which is a habitable zone, where we're getting the right amount of sunlight and we have an atmosphere. So we're a blessed planet. But now people know that, okay, this is the right way things work. However, when those people said that the Earth is not at the center, the sun is at the center, they were either house arrested or they were punished by the church or community, right? So I think everybody should now agree to the fact that, and this is a very basic thing to agree on, that the Earth is a perfect sphere. It's not a flat planet. And it's a very basic concept. But some people I've met in my life, they still think, no, it's a flat Earth, because from a certain amount of distance, you still see a land, in a flat vision.
Yeah, I also met some people who think that's the concept. And what is happening in astrophysics right now that has this specific community generally excited, and what should our audience be paying attention to?
Right. So you might have heard about the Artemis 2 mission, right? And obviously there was a lot of data collected in that 10-year voyage. So 4 NASA astronauts, they went around the moon, and they saw the far side of the moon, which never faces the Earth. Um, so that's the only way to actually see the far side of the moon. And we found that there are many craters over there which we've never seen before. They named a few craters as well, and they're performing research on those systems. I'll also drop a link in the description because of the photographs that NASA has released. There are about recently 12,000 photographs that they have released from the Artemis 2 mission, which is open for the general public. Now, astrophysics is everything related to what's happening out there with the planets and the moon and the other celestial bodies, right? So right now we are experiencing that, okay, very, 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 very slowly, the Andromeda galaxy is coming closer to the Milky Way. Moon is slightly shifting away from the Earth. All these small changes are happening. However, it's nothing to be worried about. And this is why we do space missions, so that we can actually justify what's happening in the universe, what are the predictions that we could make for the future generations, and what we need to be kind of careful about. Right. So there are lots of learnings from the Artemis 2 mission as well, which are mainly related to the moon.
Okay, that's great. Let's talk about the India space journey. Chandrayaan 3 was a historic moment, first country to land on the moon's south pole. As an astrophysicist, what did that achievement mean to you, and do you think India is genuinely stepping into a new era of space exploration?
Oh yes, definitely. India is doing incredibly well, and also we have, like, for example, Chandrayaan 2. We lost connection with the lander in 2019, unfortunately. However, we came back with Chandrayaan 3, which was a very, very successful and amazing mission. It happened on the 23rd of August, 2024, and that's why, because of that achievement, we celebrate National Space Day in India on that day. So that's an amazing milestone for ISRO and all the citizens of India as well, to give them the motivation and the confirmation that yes, India is achieving great heights in space industry as well. And for example, the Mars mission, which was the Mars rover mission, that was like one of the cheapest missions that the Indian Space Organization has done, all the way to Mars. So, in comparison to the NASA budgets, it was done very, very economically, and like ultimate engineering. It was not like any kind of engineering was compromised. Obviously, there was money spent. However, it was very intelligent engineering that happened. And ISRO is now performing, thinking of future plans. For example, the Gaganyaan mission, which is India's first human space flight mission that they are planning. Then there are other missions like NISAR, which is ISRO collaborating with NASA to build satellites which will improve our kind of visibility in terms of observation, Earth observation, climate change, and all sorts of things. They're doing collaborations with Japanese space agency as well, to kind of study the north and south pole of the moon, which we think, we have iced water on those poles. So a lot of research is going on, a lot of collaboration is going on, and that they're surely kind of ready to take on new challenges in space. It's also, there's a mission for Venus that's coming up, which is called Shukrayaan mission, which is, I think, estimated from 2028 or 2030, in which they'll study, the surface of Venus with a more closer kind of observation, the volcanic eruptions, and all those kind of things that are happening on the surface of Venus.
Gaganyaan mission is also coming up right now.
Exactly, yes. So that's the first, India's first human spaceflight mission.
Yeah. There is a private sector that also growing tremendously, like companies like Skyroot, Agnicool, and many others are emerging. As someone building a space company yourself, how do you see this ecosystem evolving, and where do you think India stands globally in the space race?
Right. So that's a very good question. And I think now is the right time for people to actually accept the fact that space industry can be one of the career options that people can comfortably fit into. Because when I was growing up, everybody was interested in space, but they treated it like a hobby because they kind of understood that, okay, this doesn't really have any career opportunities, and if it does, it's very difficult to get into the companies that are providing these space jobs, for example, ISRO or DRDO or IUCA Pune or IIA, Trivandrum. So all these are government agencies or institutions, and it is indeed difficult to get into them because they require a certain examination, entrance test, and then an interview. However, I feel these companies, these private companies which are emerging now, they're providing more opportunities for people to get into space tech or space industry, and they can therefore kind of work in the space sector in collaboration with the government. And the government is also supporting these industries because they are kind of providing an energy to the government, because they're kind of sourcing their products to the government, and the government is paying for them. So it's very much like an ideal situation right now, where the government can collaborate with these private companies for service, for manufacturing, all these kinds of things, manufacturing of satellites and payloads and whatnot. The distinction that my company provides, and I'll talk about my company in more detail, but the distinction is that we are providing immersive space education workshops. So we are kind of providing that motivation, bridging that gap, that people can actually connect with these private space industries without giving an entrance test. If you're just interested and you want to do something in the space industry, you have the intellect, you have the capability, and you have that motivation, you do not need to sit in an interview to kind of get the highest position in ISRO or something. So you can definitely make your contribution in the space industry by joining these private companies if you cannot make it to ISRO for now. So where we stand is the education part and the motivational part, and connecting industry professionals to these students who are highly motivated.
Like nowadays, people usually think like in private sector there is no job security. So what's your view about it?
I think job security would automatically come if you keep on upskilling yourself, right? And if you kind of do not become boring in your own job. So, for example, now, AI is coming into our lives, and it's been there for a long time, but now it's evolving. If we don't kind of evolve ourselves with AI, then we would kind of stay behind, and AI would take over. So we need to use AI as a tool to actually make us in an upgraded format, instead of using AI to do our jobs, if that makes sense. So we should use AI to upgrade ourselves, upskill ourselves, instead of kind of saying that, okay, AI is taking my job, because that's a very nice tool to do that. As a business owner, I use AI all the time to kind of give me ideas to brainstorm, or give me, roadmaps, or even a script for a podcast. So I take ideas on what I can touch upon, what are the questions I can ask, what are the questions that I should answer for my audience to kind of understand, okay, what is important in this industry.
Okay, I want to get into some of the deeper science now. There are topics that capture the people's imagination: black holes, white holes, dark matter, dark energy, etc. Which of these fascinates you the most as an astrophysicist, and why?
I think black holes would be the one, because, first of all, I'd like to say that black holes were only recently discovered as real life objects. They were only theoretical. So back in the 1930s, I think, when Einstein actually, he hypothesized that, okay, this is a theory that, according to my mathematical calculations, there has to be an energy in the universe which balances everything. And these are huge black holes. They suck everything in, and they kind of maintain the balance in the universe. But we can't see them. The only way to see them is that when light kind of comes, or basically a star comes close to the black hole, and there is, because of the speed of, so the black hole is kind of sucking everything around it. But you have to kind of cross a certain boundary for to get inside the black hole. If you're not crossing that boundary, you're just going around the boundary like that. Because of the speed that the star or any other object rotates in around the black hole, there is a light created around the black hole, which is called the event horizon, right? And I would totally recommend a movie if anybody wants to see what a visual and a real black hole looks like. I would totally recommend go watch Interstellar. That's one of my favorite movies. And you learn a lot from that as well. So black holes was then kind of hypothesized by Einstein, and people said, no, this is not really true. We haven't seen it. But a few years ago, during the time of COVID, we did see a real image of a black hole, which was so many light years away. So that means that mathematical calculations are not really, they're helping science. They're not just hypothetical. If they say something, that means yes, might be true. Similarly with wormholes or white holes or, other objects. So wormhole is basically hypothesized again to connect two different universes, and it sounds very kind of fictional, but it's basically like we can say that the universe is like a bed sheet and it's curved. So if I say this is a wormhole, there's one universe connected up here and the other universe is connected up here, but you can actually fold these two universes and merge them into one, and the pathway between these two universes will be the wormhole. So you can directly go from this universe to this universe just by a single pipe. Again, that's a theoretical concept. However, maybe in 50 years time or 30 years time, with the pace that you are going, I think we can get somewhere and get some proof of if this is true or not.
That's a great explanation, though. There's a lot of conversation around the humans going to Mars, SpaceX, NASA, various timelines being thrown around. How realistic do you think a crewed Mars mission is in the next 2 decades?
I think in the next 2 or 3 decades, it would very much be possible if we get more people like Elon Musk who are very much motivated, and he's also inspiring the next generation in terms of space education and in space tech, space exploration programs. So I think it would be very much possible. However, we would need a lot of resources. We would need a lot of training. And if we keep going with the same pace, I think it's not really an impossible task to do. However, spending that much amount of money and resources on such a mission, which we don't know if that's going to be successful or not, it's very much debatable, and that's why people are kind of divided into two groups who are favoring Mars colonization and who are not favoring Mars colonization. So people can be futuristic and they say, okay, we're kind of living on this one planet. It's very much habitable. However, to test our limits, we can also go on other planets and see if we can survive, if the human race can actually expand from one planet to the other planet with the technology we've built, with the knowledge that we've gained. So we're basically testing our limits, and that's what makes us human. Humans always want to evolve. We never want to settle down. We want to learn new things. And that's how the generation kind of changes. However, on the other side, people say, why don't you just settle down and live your life on Earth with the resources that we have? Why build billion-dollar telescopes and why build billion-dollar spacecrafts and use those resources outside of our planet? Why not use that money within the planet for the people and for goodwill and philanthropic communities? So there are very various opinions. I don't have a strong opinion on this thing. I love Earth, obviously. So I would say I'm kind of inclined more towards the philanthropic side, that okay, I think we can use the resources. However, space exploration is important as long as we know that this would benefit the human race, and we can keep doing research just to protect ourselves.
So you are building a startup. Like, building any startup is really hard, and you are building a space startup in India, which its own unique has some set of challenges as well. So what has been the most difficult part of this journey that perhaps people from the outside don't see?
There are many challenges, as you said, and being kind of like a solopreneur as well, I have to manage a lot of tasks. I have a UK partner as well, so obviously he comes on board and he helps me out with some things. However, establishing a company in India, it's a huge country, so there are so many challenges that I face. A few are just connecting with the schools, delivering that content that we have, delivering the vision that we have, explaining why and how we are different from the other players in the market, and how we can create a difference in the students' lives by being a part of their lives. So I think that conviction is very easy and hard to deliver. It's easy to deliver if the person is also at the same frequency as me. If I'm energetic, if I'm motivated, and they're also the same to receive this information, it's very easy. However, if they're not, kind of, they're reluctant, or they're questioning, or I mean, questioning is all right, but if they're not ready to accept some things, then it becomes a bit hard. And marketing as well, marketing to the right audience, that's also a very, very essential part in the company. That if you can't market it well, then the product or the service is of no use. So you have to kind of target the right people, and you have to kind of strategically build your marketing strategies and marketing team and all of that. So there are multiple kind of buckets that I have to manage. But yeah, we're taking it step by step, but there's also fun in that, because you're juggling a lot of balls, so you get that adrenaline and you get that energy when you're doing the work. So I'm equally enjoying it as well.
So we just got the vision of the space tour India. So where do you want to take this in next 5 years or maybe 10 years?
That's a great question, and I would love to answer this one, because my vision is that, within the next 3 or 5 years, I want people to know about this more, and kind of not just not just kind of listen to me because I have an astrophysics degree, but actually connect with what we want to deliver. So the main vision of Space Tour India is to create a network of space education, which is not just for students, it's also for their parents, it's also for their grandparents, it's also for their cousins. So it's, anybody who is interested in space can come on board. And what do? We do multiple things, like we will deliver immersive space workshops in schools, collaborate with college students to create programs which can be run on VR, which is virtual reality objects, VR headsets, and teach them about augmented reality. So work with emerging technologies like that, and also conduct space workshops in college for people who are interested. So we have, like a separate workshop, especially for space enthusiasts who want to study space and might take it as a career opportunity later on. Then we also work with corporate firms, and do team building, and do space workshops with them as a team building activity. We also are planning to open an online merchandise store where we'll sell amazing and interactive space items. And finally, we are thinking to open an online, community of people, which is SEDS India again. So I'll connect back to SEDS India for the community building. So which will be a part of Space Tour. Obviously it's going to be a different community, but since I'm on the advisory board, I would love to connect people with Space Tour India as well. Currently, when I'm working with Space Tour UK, we have a collaboration on a few things. One of which is an online space course, which is for international audience, right? For anybody from the ages 12 and above, anybody can join that course. It's a 6-week course, and there's a very minimal fee for it, where you learn about astrophysics, you learn about astrobiology, satellites, space missions, cosmology, and we have different classes with experts. So for example, if I am there, I'll be teaching only astrophysics. There will be another professor or a lecturer who will be teaching you about astrobiology. So in the last cohort that we had, and this cohort happens every 2 months. So if anybody is interested, you can search the Space Tour website, or you can contact me. that yes, I'm interested, and please tell me more. So in the last cohort we had Alyssa Carson for teaching the astrobiology class. She is a very famous kind of she's a celebrity and also a cosmonaut and an astrobiologist. So, and she's just, I think, just 21 years old, and she's achieved so much in life. She's worked with NASA and done so many collaborations within the US as well. So we invited her to deliver the astrobiology lecture online, which people really liked. The second option that I collaborate with Oxford Space Tour UK is the Oxford Summer Space Course, which is again a 2-week program in which we onboard students. It's like an exchange program. We take them to Oxford, give them that experience of Oxford. They live in an Oxford college. So Oxford is it consists of like 36, 37 colleges altogether, the university. We make them stay in a college, and they experience that living in Oxford. Is obviously, it's beautiful. You feel like you're living in a fairy tale. So it's a beautiful place to experience space education, and we also call real astronauts to give guest lectures, and they talk to you. They talk to you about their experiences, what is important for them to kind of when they go up in space, what are the trainings that they get, and all the kind of inside information that you can't really find on the internet. So that experience is again one of the best experiences that we run.
Okay, it's good. There is an important question I think about, like, why does the space education matter for India right now? Which in a country with so many immediate challenges, why should we investing in inspiring young people towards space?
Okay, so because space is not just a subject or a hobby, I think it's basically our reality, right? The more we learn about our surroundings, the more we learn about what's outside of Earth, the more we can think about, okay, how did humans come, in the universe? How were we born? How were we created? You might have heard of a phrase called "we are star stuff." And that's because the elements that are found inside our body, they're also found in meteorites and stars, which are outside the Earth, right? So basically, a meteorite hit the Earth, and those elements were there, therefore spilled on the Earth. And then, because of evolution, humans were born, other animals were born, the marine life was created, all of that. So one is to go back in the history of how we were born. And second is to kind of predict the future of where we are going and what's going to happen in the future, and just to be aware. It's also, I think, a power symbol that if you're working on space exploration and technology, you're constantly evolving yourself. The other nations also look up to you as a powerful nation, right? If you don't do anything in terms of like exploration or research, people would not really take you seriously. So because we are doing research, because we are investing in space education and in space exploration, I think that's what makes India powerful. That's what makes us aware as citizens as well. And I think that's important for the country to maintain.
Okay, I want to ask you something on the behalf of a lot of students who might be watching this. Someone in a small town, limited resources, family that doesn't understand why space is a real career path. What is your message to that person?
To the person or the parent?
Yeah, parent as well, but to the person as well, because he will give the idea to his parents.
Right. So for the person who's interested in space, I would love to say that, don't shy away, because if you're genuinely interested in space, there are loads of opportunities for you to get into the space industry and choose it as a career option as well. Just be aware, and now the internet is there. Everything and even AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude, they're all there. So please do not shy away from researching on what your interest lies in. For example, my interest lies in science communication, talking to people, and space education side of things. However, I have many friends who are very, very technical, and they love building rockets. They love launching rockets in the space. So they are more on the technical side. So you have to choose your niche, and then there's always a way. When there's a will, there's always a way. So, and with that conviction, if you keep going forward with that conviction, I think even the parents would say that, okay, this child is really passionate about what he or she wants to do. So we might as well give them a chance. But they have to keep themselves really aware. And it's a genuine question, like, if there are no career opportunities, why should we study this subject? But nowadays, because of AI, because of a lot of people who are kind of building their own brands, building their own companies, there are so many job opportunities in the market.
So you also work as a study abroad consultant, which makes a lot of sense from your background only. So for students in India who want to pursue astrophysics or space science at the highest level, what universities would you point at them towards?
Right. So I wouldn't like name any universities. Obviously, everybody knows which universities are the best ones in the world. However, the journey, you have to be really clear on like what you want to do. From in my case, I did not have a course in astrophysics in India. I know that IISCRs provide a lot of physics and astronomy courses. However, I wanted to do core astrophysics, which was not present in India, and therefore I had to move abroad to do my master's. But people, if you're interested in doing, physics and astronomy, taking subjects like cosmology as an elective, or just doing practical physics, there are or observational physics. There are many opportunities in India, but I provide help in terms of like if you really made up your mind that you want to study abroad, I can help you with your SOP, which is statement of purpose. What do colleges want? And they want a holistic profile. They don't want to see that you're working just towards your marks and not contributing in sports, not contributing in an NGO. They want to see like a wholesome personality, and I can help you and guide you in that direction. That okay, this is what the universities want, because from a personal experience, I can tell you about which exams the universities usually want. For example, the US, they usually want GRE, they want IELTS or TOEFL for your score. Some UK universities do not require that. So again, I provide like a holistic guidance about all the way from the starting. If you're confused about which course you want to take, all the way till the end where your application is submitted. So I'm very happy to like handhold you and take you through the process.
So what is the one piece of advice you wish someone had given you before you left for the Oxford?
I would say that it's I think it's like it's very unpredictable whatever happens in life, right? And obviously when I went to Oxford, and my boss was really nice, she said to me that you came here as a child and you're leaving here from here like a professional. So you just have to kind of accept whatever's being thrown at you and use that opportunity for your benefit. I was in a very, very English office when I was working in Oxford. Like all my colleagues were English, and they used to speak in a very, very English accent. So, but instead of kind of struggling to settle in, I used to accept everything, and I used to observe like how these people are reacting, how do they think, how do they react to things, how do they walk and talk, and how do they live their culture. It's very, very different. But as soon as you start accepting those changes that are coming to you, you'll stay really happy instead of cribbing about things. So I try and not crib about things, and that makes a huge difference. So just stay positive, and even if things are not going your way, for example, if I didn't get accepted in Oxford, I would have tried to obviously keep applying for jobs. And I had faced multiple rejections in other jobs, but I didn't stop applying. So just keep going, and definitely there's a way that you'll get to your destiny in the end.
Yeah, it is truly stated like failure is a part of a success. So it is great to always trust the God's plan and work upon it.
Exactly.
So finally, do you need to be exceptionally gifted academically to make it in astrophysics, or in sustained passion, hard work is enough?
So you need to be interested. You don't need to be exceptionally gifted. You just need to find your niche. All right. If somebody told me that you have to sit in a lab, work on a laptop for eight hours a day, and do Python coding, coding in Python, and find out where this planet is, or find out its mass, or find out this the weight of a galaxy. I can do that for a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, but I cannot do that for my life. So that would kind of take the passion out of me. If you like what you're doing and you're accepting that you can do that as long as you want to, then obviously you have chosen your path, and that's what I call gifted. People who love doing what they do, uh, they are certainly gifted, and you have to find that for yourself, because it's different for everybody.
So it's a wonderful session with you. It has been an insightful conversation. I have personally learned a lot, and I am sure our audience will too. Before we conclude, where can people connect with you and learn more about Space Tour India?
Yeah, sure. So they can obviously visit the website spacestore.co. And I'll mention the link as well in the description. They can connect with me personally on my email and my LinkedIn, which again I'll drop with you, Ved. And my email is Gauri, dot Verma, Verma, at spacestore.co. So I'm very, very happy to connect with people if they have any questions or they need any advice on abroad education, any consultancy. I'm really happy to help and have a call with them, or have any kind of, if they have any questions related to space careers as well. I'm very happy to connect them with people, because I have a huge network on LinkedIn with space industrialists and people who are working in the space industry in India and in the UK. So I'm very happy to connect them with people who are working in the industry, so they can explore opportunities as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much once again for joining us and sharing your journey and insights with us today. And thank you everyone for watching and listening. Until next time, keep looking up at the stars.